All right, good morning. It is this beautiful spring day. It's Mother's Day. Welcome everyone here and on Facebook Live. We are delighted to be here with you today, and we have kind of the mother, fairy godmother I call her, of our congregation, Sue Rubin, speaking, and we have wonderful people and our fabulous Alberto, and just join me for a moment in a prayer of gratitude. So as we are here together, just breathing in the love and the joy and the celebration and breathing out anything unlike that, and just coming together with a smile, making new friends, and blessing the day. And so it is. Thank you. All right. All right. And we have, speaking of the fabulous Alberto, he is going to play us a song. Take it away, Alberto.
What a blessing you are. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. And of course, happy Mother's Day. I'm about to read The Flames of Faith, which is what we do to acknowledge the fine thread of love that runs through all religions. And so we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from that one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religions, thought, and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the candle for all those who are, as yet, unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them at this center, and for all religions unnamed in this ceremony. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love. And in this consciousness of generosity, compassion, and love, and fellowship, and family, and motherhood, I know with absolute certainty of the one power, the one source of all life, the one, and I am one with it. Therefore, in this sacred moment, I acknowledge that all life is a divine experience and expression of the one. Mother, Father, God, Spirit, love, whatever I call it, it's good. It's everywhere present, and it loves me. It is love. And I know now in this sacred moment that everyone present is here to hear the wonderful words that will be spoken today in our wonderful service. The wisdom of Dr. Sue, and the joy and the intelligence and the knowledge from Reverend Pam, and the music from Alberto. What a wonderful, wonderful way to spend Mother's Day, acknowledging our oneness with Spirit and our oneness with each other. I'm so grateful for these loving truths as I release them now into the law of mind. I allow divine mind to take care of the details while I enjoy this beautiful, eloquent, compassionate giving service. And together we say, and so it is. And so it is. Alberto.
Do you know the backstory of that song? It made me cry. So that's.
I don't know the story. I know it's from Robert Davis. He's a lutenist. He was a lutenist at the court of. Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, it's a song called "The Bourrée" by Robert Davis, who was the lutenist at the court of King Louis XIV, the Sun King, King of France, in the 17th century. Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Mother's Day. I can't imagine life without music. And I just want to say one other thing before I say, I'll say this first. Happy Mother's Day. And one thing we all have in common is a mother. But I think imagination comes from music, and so much, and imagination also creates music, but also it brings everything to life. Does everybody know just one more music thing? Does everybody know the most important thing that sells a film? The music, absolutely. And when the proof of that is if everyone remembers Chariots of Fire, that would have been the dullest movie ever without the music. It did the whole thing. So happy Mother's Day. And I feel so blessed to be in the company of people that I love so much here today. And so it is. I'm going to do a few Mother's Day quotes. One is from the Golden Girls. It's not easy being a mother. If it were, fathers would do it. I don't know who said this, but they said, my mother is the sky that holds the clouds, and only a mother can walk with the weight of a second beating heart. And that was Maya Angelou that said that. And to describe my mother would be to write about a hurricane in its perfect power or the climbing, falling colors of a rainbow. And then Mahatma Gandhi said, it may be possible to gild pure gold. Oh, that's about you. Pure gold, who's talking about the mother lode today. Sue, Dr. Reverend Sue, is talking about the Mother's Day today, which is the richness of the everything, which is the nothingness, which lies within us, that creates us. But anyway, Mahatma Gandhi said, to gild pure gold, but who can make his mother more beautiful? And so the richness of it all. So I just want to say a few words about my growing up, my mother. And I found out after my mother died, because my father couldn't keep all the secrets to himself. Anyway, they were both really, really wounded souls that came together to save one another. The old thing about saving one another and creating a life. And the life they created on the surface was pure as the driven snow. And those who know me and know that I have this history now that's been revealed, they were far from that when they met us. But in that trying to do it right, they gave us the freedom to do everything. They had no parents growing up, so they had no parenting skills. So we ran wild. No, we didn't run wild, but they gave us a lot of freedom. And one of the things that they gave us the most was, because my mother was Catholic and my father was Jewish, we were allowed to visit all churches and temples and everything else. So that was one of the major gifts. Not only did they love us, which I didn't get all the time until, again, when you grow up, you know better, and you see the depth of what their givingness was. And but I had also other women in my life that were not older than me, but were like mother figures. One was Jeanette was my Girl Scout leader, and she is the one that at 16 I graduated from high school, and I took my summer job in some insurance company that was just god awful in Los Angeles. And I wasn't I didn't care about driving. I didn't drive till I was 21. Anyway, I'd go downtown LA from Burbank, and in this job where I was filing, I don't remember what it was. Anyway, and she called me up and she said, "Honey," she said, "what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm working." And she said, "Okay, you quit tomorrow and you come work with me in the studios." And so I started working in Hollywood with Jeanette when I was 16. I have other role models, and not that she is older than me, but Dr. Reverend Sue is the richness of a role model of integrity and the depth of spirituality that reaches so deep in my soul and has been that light, that North Star for me for a long time. I remember Patrick wrote you a note saying, "You are my North Star." I found it. And so anyway, so I am so grateful to be in the company of such richness with not only the mothers in here, but all those who have nurtured anything in their lives. And so let's just close. Let's just close with knowing that today is an absolute blessed day. And I am blessed to be here. I am blessed that I'll be able to share this with family later. And I am blessed that even my granddaughter, who, this isn't even in the prayer, but I'm time challenged, she came over so that I could help her wrap a gift for her mom today. And I'm thinking, could she speed it up? And I'm thinking, what a joy, what a gift. Oh, so let's go back into that oneness, into that sacredness. No matter what the state of your mind and body is right now, know that the richness of the mother lode lies within each and every one of us. And let us open our hearts and bring it forth, because it is the truest part of the perfect one that lies within. And so today, through music, through wisdom of our wonderful Reverend Dr. Sue, let all of the richness and the colors and the goldenness and the pureness of the goldenness run through our veins, and let it enliven us all. And I let this go, and I just call today good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. And now, it's my honor to introduce you again, Alberto. For those who don't know who you is.
You know, for as many years as you've watched me and heard me, just remember it works both ways. I've watched and heard you, and I'm sure you all notice that Alberto's face reads the music for us and tells the story, because I had the same question when you were playing your first piece, and yet you could see the love, the anguish, it's all there if we but look deeply into each other's face and really remember the song, I see the face of God, within myself and within all. And so happy Mother's Day to all mothers, man, woman. We all share the capacity to nourish and to be nourished. And the balance between the feminine divine, or the sacred divine, and the sacred masculine are equal but different, just as we all come from that same divine cloth from which we're all cut. And it's the same, but it's different. So to be able to embrace the paradox of life and to know that mothers come in all sizes and shapes. And so you prompted me to think about my mother. And my mother was a mother for only 25 years because she passed away at 51. And then I came to a start because I've been a mother for 70 years. Holy. And I thought about my ex-husband, who has subsequently passed away, and how much of what we measure as meaningful and significant can't be measured in time and space. It can only be in a quality. And if there are any pictures buried of my mother, I don't know where they are because I have yet to find any. And yet what I still can see as clearly as it can be, and she passed when I was 21, is her face, her whole being, and the love that she radiated, and the positivity after really being ill for 7 years before making her transition. And so the measurement of the value that life holds is never in time and space. It simply shows up that way so that we can take that memory and garner it and utilize it to pay it forward. That cheerful attitude that she had. And you remember in the day, jewelry was called costume jewelry. All the oh my God, did she ever love that? She would have fit perfectly in the age of now when, large is nice, although delicate is coming back too. So that measurement of value and nurturing is the key word, just as Reverend Lynn mentioned. It's nurturing that capacity and to balance that with the divine masculine. So the mother within myself, as I reflect back, particularly on her first days with my son, she was pretty scattered. She knew not what the heck it meant and how to do mothering. And so I can remember the struggle. And those of you who go back, if you remember the bottles being sterilized, oh my God, and God forbid you take that body out before it's about 3-4 months old. And living in New York particularly, it was a chore to get on all the winter garments and to finally feel some fresh air. So that within us all is, and goddesses were around far before the masculine, the patriarchal, became the image and likeness of godliness. The agricultural women who were so much a part of the earth, Mother Earth. So we shared the same qualities and capacities to nurture, to love, to give birth to life. And once it is seen from the invisible into the visible, to continue to give it life and ideas. And so what a joy it is to be able to stand and enjoy now 5 grandchildren and to find spiritual inroads into 2 of the 5. That's how I measure life in its meaning and significance. It's like saying something and seeing, oh, there's a remembrance or a resonance with that. That's pretty neat. So if I start thinking about it, and I was watching a wonderful teacher within our movement who also is now stepped aside and is doing other things, Dr. David Alt. He was talking about the idea of Divine Mother and Divine Father as roots and wings, that the way to look at it is that which is rooted by virtue physically of that form of life taking place within the mother who is the carrier. That's the root. And the way that it's treated now is so different from when I was carrying children, talk to the baby and play music and let life be heard and felt in outer realms as it is coming through you from within the inner realm. And so those roots are by all means equivalent to the divine within us all. The Father, in being touched by this life. I enjoy so much seeing a big strapping guy walking with a little girl or boy. There's just something so beautiful and touching, because the tenderness, the kindness, that generosity of spirit seems to come alive in those moments. And of course, in today's environment, that is so deeply wanted, because it looks like that has been forgotten. It came into the fore, fostering and nurturing the feminine. And now it would seem that it's all about wielding the gun or anything that perpetrates the violence of what can be within us all, the divine masculine, that is about getting the job done one way or another, and somewhat subduing or masking the feelings of that tenderness, that nurturing quality, that gentleness of spirit. And so the roots that are available from those blessed to have parents, and they come in all sizes and shapes, adoptive and foster and simply chosen, or the people that we've heard referred to, teachers. And particularly in my case, my aunt, my mom's sister, who we lived close to each other because she and her husband didn't have any kids. And so my brother and I, we were her kids. And so she was very protective. She was the kind of a woman who, now that I reflect on it, was dominated by love, but overturning that love into fear. So I would get articles about do not put your child outside the market when you go shopping. Be sure and take that baby with you, and be sure that the covers are not over their heads. You know, simple things, and yet they were all a part of her finding a way to defend herself against life, against the natural happenings of life, you know, because the independence with which we can treat our kids and show them is the start of the wings that come forth by saying, whatever it is you choose to do in the world, find that within the mother and let that be the masculine divine that takes you out into the realms of time and space. And so the mothers in my life were my aunt, and yet I also felt her fear. But there was a balance, definitely a balance, because my father, the great divine and sacred masculine, was an accountant. So as was shared before, he was all about checks and balances. So each one of us, if we want to trace the mythological archetype, and you know who does a beautiful job with that, if you've read him, I'm sure you have, Joseph Campbell, his books and his studies. Just remember that fabulous TV series with Bill Moyer. Oh, my gosh. And so to bring balance into our lives, it's what we all search for, because in the support and encouragement of women to stand in their own power and become autonomous without simply being identified and labeled as the homemaker or the mother, not in a nice way. You know, it depends on the tone how you say that word. So just think about that as you journey through life. That's what it's about, always the balance, how I can bring from within myself that chalice of truth that causes me to lift that high within my own awareness so that I can offer that tenderness, that loving kindness, that gentility of spirit, and that generosity that finds compassion. And of course, most recently, as I've shared, the compassion that I discovered most recently was the 6 months that I was in the assisted living, and seeing people who truly are suffering the physical limitations which I suppose have been allowed to simply develop a life of their own, which is why, to my great surprise, spirituality hasn't really entered their lives and is a startup project that I continue to be teaching with them over at Veronita every week. And yet last week I was particularly excited because it's like the mother lode, that which is the richness, that which is striking it big, is that part of ourself. For that, when you see that light go on, and something that we were talking about did that, and suddenly I felt the freedom to be able to say the G word, God, Spirit, Divine, Infinite, Universal, which is what I've been flirting with all this time. And I think I shocked them because I just couldn't contain myself. I went, yippee! Finally, now I can let you have it, full bore. So there's that balance. I can laugh and I can as easily cry. I can be strong. I can go with the flow and stay in the present moment, as the feminine is by nature inclined to do, while that masculine says, well, go, do something. Just don't be, do. So always there is that within myself that I'm working with. And when I look at the world of people, places, and things that I've manifest, they're all there to teach me how to be more significantly in balance. So a letter arrives in the mail, and it says, along with a check, made out to the DMV in the amount that I already paid to register my car back in March. And the letter says, we have no record of any payment. Your car is non-existent. So what am I driving? An invisible machination of my own imagination? And so it was like, okay, here we go. Online, no, that didn't work. Call, find a number, somebody, a person. And this gal answers, and the first thing I said, are you a robot? And she cracks up, and she goes, no, I'm not. Who knows? Maybe she was. I mean, artificial intelligence, be on the alert, people. This is like no joke. And in any case, she could not locate, I already have, because that was paid for electronically through my bank checking account. I have the statement which indicates that money was cashed. They have no record. So after an hour conversation, I have to show up in person next week at the DMV. But all of that points me to what within me is that which is out of sorts. It's out of kilter. It's not harmoniously attuned to being the love. I mean, when you think about it, the divine presence of love is the aspect of love that particularly is referred to in science of mind as being, again, equal but different from the masculine nature, which is the law. That something that has already been received and is not acknowledged in physical form means something's out of whack. I acknowledged it internally, but there was some gap in it manifesting in real time and space. And that's the stuff of which deepest self-inquiry is made. It's all about discovering that which would appear obvious, but it's never obvious. There's always the subtleties that are manifest from deeper levels that ultimately that energy becomes so prominent that it has to find itself in form. And that, again, is part of the balance between the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. The feminine being the receptive and the masculine being more productive. You know, and again, back to the statement, the being goes with the flow and the masculine gets going. No flow, it's just a determination of a productivity and an action that has to, you know, show me what needs fixing and I'll fix it. And while I'm busy contemplating what is going on in my consciousness. So that which is obvious, one is hidden, the other is visible. That which is more forthcoming in taking direct action can certainly be nurtured within all of us, male and female. And so the lessons of life and for our times are so striking that it isn't because of pointing the finger at one person or one situation, and certainly we could do that economically, politically, environmentally, in every which dimension of life. But that's not it. There's a cause that is underlying all of that, where our culture, our civilization, as we know it, particularly in this country, it's not because of pointing the finger at any one thing or situation. It's a statement about where we cumulatively have come and the need for correction. You know, it is said that the universe is a self-correcting, self-organizing mechanism, and it is. Therefore, we are, because we're the same. Mother Earth and the mothering instinct and nature of all of us that exists within the depths of our being are, again, the same, equal, but different. Each one serves a different purpose. So wherever you are today and wherever I am today, it's time to really get deeply into digging out that mother lode and finding its perfect equivalent match in the father lode. So, Buzz, if you're speaking on Father's Day, that would be a good topic. The father, the father load. I mean, life is such an adventure. It really, it truly is. So I was at Starbucks the other day. Oh, surprise, surprise. And I haven't engaged in any sightings because mostly people are just coming, grabbing coffee, and going. But yesterday, there was this gal sitting outside, and she had her feet up on one of the other chairs, which I protected her by thinking to myself, no, don't go there and tell her to take off her feet. None of your business. And so we started chatting because she was trying, it looked like, to do some work on computer, but not very effectively. And she was contemplating what we're talking about today. She too lost her mother many, many years ago and was reflecting on the fact that she had no kids and was lamenting that fact. And so I started talking and brought up the same thing, that you don't have to have physically carried and brought life through a baby as a female, or surrogate or whatever means, but you can cultivate giving life to those qualities of all that we're talking about, nurturing. How do you nurture yourself? And so she started crying, and that's that uncomfortable moment where I remember years ago when I would start crying, someone would shove a box of tissues in front of me because of the discomfort of like, well, what do you do? What do you say? Like when you go to a memorial, and somebody who's been dearly loved is lost, or you've experienced loss, which I'm sure we all have in our lives. The moments come when, particularly on a day like this that commemorates life in certain specific aspects of it, that's the time to nurture yourself. And as I have been doing, not to measure by time, but again, by the quality, not the quantity, but the quality, and how we can really be the providers of giving those admired qualities out in and through our own world and efforts. And so she calmed and kind of quieted, and I just, spoke from my heart a couple of words, but I freed her to have that experience, because when we really feel that discomfort, when that love energy or compassion rises within us, we do, in many ways, I can only speak for myself, try to cover it over by being one way or the other. We all have ways to find that we live more comfortably within ourselves, and yet the freedom exists in releasing the control of so many aspects that still are dormant within all of us. And so today, as you meander through the life of God as you, let that divine nature come through, just as we remember it from past timeless, spaceless eternity. The Venus that stood for love, and Sophia in the Greek, in the Roman, in the old mystical Christianity, Aphrodite. All of that still exists within all of us. To remember, we each carry a piece of those things that we most admire deeply and persistently, that we are reminding ourselves about through spiritual practices. That's where that deeper masculine, linear, rational, critical thinking mind has to be drawn into harmonious accord with its love, compassion, tenderness, and kindness, and what we were talking about recently, vulnerability. Our greatest vulnerability is our greatest strength. So I know that today is your day to start where mothering always begins, from within ourselves, from within that mother lode, which is simply waiting to be dug more deeply into, in order to spring forth and bless ourselves and most definitely the world we're all presently living in. And that's the way it really is. Now let me see your face. Let me see what the song will be. Okay, so as I give you my purse, give you yours. All right, so you know my feeling pops up that says, we do this every week of every month of every year. Enough already. Today's a new day. So let's find a new way to give more fully from the richness of the mother load and the father load that's just waiting to give more fully. So I invite you to close your eyes for just a moment, and before giving, just ask yourself, do I give in harmony with that which I receive? Am I in balance between giving and receiving and giving, which are one and the same in spiritual, invisible dimensions? And so I know the answer. There's always more. This is the infinite to which I refer. This is the universal. This is the boundless, the timeless, the spaceless, the limitlessness of divine richness of being. And to the degree I know my own richness of being, I know that what is mine to give today exceeds what I gave yesterday, but isn't as much as I give tomorrow. So I give with a full heart of appreciation, of gratitude for my spiritual home, and it is now given unto me to go forth and bless the consciousness of the all-good, the all-rich, the all-prospering, the all-abundant. And I do this by first giving of my own treasure. For this and so much more, I give thanks. And that's the truth, and so it is. Thanks, Tom.
Alberto, and thank you all for giving today. And, oh, I'm supposed to be on the mic. Sorry, here I am. I want to thank you once again for your donations, and I want to say thank you to Dr. Sue for the wonderful talk. Welcome you all to the center here, live and in person, and also everyone who's online, as we celebrate Mother's Day. And since we're all humans, we must all have mothers. So let's honor them today. We just had a wonderful lesson, like I said, who talked about the mother load. She mentioned the father load coming up next month, and I've loaded many things as a father, so the father load's kind of a little heavier sometimes than the mother load, but we all have a load of some sort to carry through in our lives. So I'm Buzz Noe here, the announcements for this week. There are several new classes starting up here in the center, and as you learn about them, please do join in and let's get busy. Oh, I heard something. Okay. So what we got is beginning on Wednesday, May 24th this month, in a week from now, from 10 to 11:30 in the morning. It'll be, once again, Wednesday, May 31st will be the second one. There'll be two classes, Let Your Light Shine. They'll be here at the center with author Jana Lee Oakney. And the class will help you use affirmations and clearing methods to go through, to let go of the negative beliefs, and you can then live your true potential. So it's a great class. It's only $15 per class. You can sign up here today, or you can register via email online at our center's website, cslpleasantvalley@gmail.com. So look forward to having you all here for that. And then the other new classes coming up next month in June. These will both be improvisation sessions with wonderful Reverend Lynn and also Jerry Tomlinson. And the first one is called Play Date. And that'll begin on Saturday, June 3rd. It runs for 4 Saturdays in June. It'll go from noon to 1:30 right here at the center. And the class is for anyone from age 15 to 100 who wishes to bring more play into their lives. It'll help you release tension, improve your brain health. The cost of the entire class is just $80. So you once again can sign up here in person or through the center's website, cslpleasantvalley@gmail.com, or through the email, not the website. You can make payments in person or through the center's website as well, cslpleasantvalley.org. So you can pay that way or through PayPal. And once again, it's $80 for the entire four-week session. And then the second class coming up is entitled AIM, and that stands for Applied Improv Mastery. It's going to take place 4 Thursday evenings in June. It will begin on Thursday, June 8th. It'll run in the evening from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Once again, it'll be here at the center, and the class is for anyone who wishes to bring more play into their lives. As with the other class, it'll help you release tension, bring more energy into yourself, and improve your brain health. The cost for this class is $100 for the entire 4 sessions. And once again, you can pay in person here or at the center's website, Pleasant Valley, or through PayPal for the class. So these are great improv sessions coming up next month, so please do sign up for those. And there's a new event coming up later this month on Saturday, May 27th from 9 till 11:30 in the morning. And it's a cleaning party right here at our center to help clean up the center with mops. There'll also be pizza for anyone who shows up, so you're all invited to participate in that on the Saturday, May 27th. And an announcement that our center's women's group normally gathers on the second Sunday of the month, which is, of course, today. But since today is also Mother's Day, and most of you women will be celebrating being mothers, so the actual women's group gathering will take place in June on June 11th, which is the second Sunday in June, right after the Sunday lesson. So put that in your calendars. And next Sunday's musical performer will be our wonderful Ryan Kimry. He always brings us some great music that we can share with him. And also, next Sunday's speaker for the Sunday lesson here at 10:30 will be our beloved Rev. Pam Geagan, whose title is The Light Side of the Force. And as always, it will take place here live and on Facebook Live as well. So please do plan to attend here to once again hear from Reverend Pam as she gives us that nice lesson. And don't forget that our bookstore is open after lesson. Once again, Ralph Brennan will be there to host. So after service, see Ralph, and you can pick up a good read over at the bookstore. And as always, we thank all of you who have donated to our center, both here live and also online. And remind you that online you can donate through the center's website, through PayPal, and through Zelle. So our center appreciates your loving donations, and we thank you for anything that you can give to us. And one more reminder to be sure to regularly check our center's website, cslpleasantvalley.org, to review the calendar and learn more about what are the upcoming events. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, so lots of places online to connect with the center. And a reminder that's not up here that Rev Pam will be over in room 4 after the service to provide treatment for anyone who has anything going on in their life that they would like to have treatment for. She'll be there for you. So that's it for the announcements for today. I want to thank all of you again for being here live and online for the service. Happy Mother's Day to all of you moms out there. And now here is Dr. Sue coming up with our closing affirmation. Everyone have a great day. Thank you.
Okay. It's a new day. Let's give birth to a new idea. And so, first of all, it helps to bring body through an awareness of our breath. That which gives life takes it in and lets it out. And I am that vehicle that takes in the awareness, the consciousness of recognizing one power, one life, almighty, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, and always in action, individualized by my own attention and my own direction, of giving that energy a place to head forth into. And that is why I bring the mother lode into fuller awareness, expression, and fruition, bringing greater compassion, patience, flexibility, loving kindness, that which is gentle from the soul in and given out. My strength, my courage, my boldness, my bravery, all begin really with that impulse to give more fully of that which I already am, and yet to bring it out of dormancy into aliveness, into fullness, into seeing the evidence in fact and form of that which I entertain as ideas, as thoughts, as feelings, as beliefs from within the depth of my being. And so I live from the inside out, not just for special occasions, but as a regular practice. This is why I am here at this time in civilization's evolution, to be a truth speaker, that which brings life, possibilities, and opportunities into every situation in my personal world, and as I stretch outward in collective environments and gatherings and events, to speak the word in a way that encourages, it nurtures, it fosters growth, expansion, and that which embraces change with eagerness, with faith and conviction that the power which brings each and every one of us as far as it already has brought us continues to take us the distance, giving that strength and that wholeness of awareness to my body, to my mind, to my soul, and to every expression, because each one has meaning, has significance, and has value. And so I go forward today, not just automatically celebrating a date on the calendar that brings mothers to the forefront, but rather celebrating life in all dimensions of its being by acknowledging that as much of life as I have experienced, as all have experienced, in each one's personal life, there is so much more. And if not now, when? This is the time to give, and we are the givers. And so I go forth, shoulder to shoulder, mind to mind, heart to heart, with all who are committed to awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence, action by direct action in the human realm of experience. And I know that the impulse is love, and what propels it is law. Masculine, feminine, working together in harmony, mind and emotions, together, one symbol of that which represents increased goodness within, through, and as myself, and throughout the planet. And so I give thanks. I know and accept that this is the ultimate absolute truth that frees. And in gratitude, let us all declare together. And so it is.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Mother's Day. Blessings galore. See you next Sunday. Yay! Thank you, Albert. Thank you, everyone who participated.